this is Baba Sekou and Mama Imani, and I'm going to do Bears Den, where we sit down and have a discussion about things that are on our minds, things that pertain to the community, and we do it in a relaxed way so we can just speak off the cuff, share heartfelt concerns without any kind of stress or anything like that. What I want to talk about briefly is the weekend that I had. I got a chance to go visit with my family in Hampton, where I'm from. And actually my brother's birthday party. We had a good time. So I wanted to sit down, or rather we wanted to sit down and just talk about some things off the cuff, relaxed, and so there wouldn't be a lot of stress involved. I went to Hampton to my brother's birthday party, as I said, and we had a good time. And without going into too much detail, you know, when people start talking, they start drinking, they start interacting like that, a lot of things come out in a family situation pertaining to some kind of trauma that people are going through or that they have been through. And I just want to say that I got a chance to see some of those kind of things come out in my family like they do in all families. And so I wanted to, without going into too much detail, I wanted to just talk about how we treat each other in a familiar situation. Because the way we treat each other in our families, it's going to happen. It's going to happen in the community. It's going to come out. Because what people don't understand is the community format is the basis in African culture, in African continental culture. It's the basis for what makes the family. What is in the interest of the community? It's the basis for what makes the community. What is in the interest of the community that people are concerned about, either for the good or for the bad of it. So what happens in family trauma comes out in the community's network of behavior, be it good or bad. That's where it happens. And my most important point to make is there's nothing wrong with having personal success. You're supposed to have. But personal success, professional success, is not the end-all, be-all. Because if you have personal success and professional success, but you cannot live with each other, what's the point? Because of family trauma and intra-community trauma. Now I'm going to shut up right here and let my wife take over from here. Maybe what she has to say.
I talk all the time. I try to fill up the silences. I am just happy that you are taking the lead on this one.
Well, this is my specialty, because I have a degree in sociology, so that's the reason why I went into sociology in the first place. As I said this in another video, but the reason why I went into sociology is because I thought that our problem was merely cultural. And it is, in part. But our problem is the system, the social system that we were brought up into, that we were conditioned, trained, educated into, so that we have certain expectations that are alien from our own agenda. And this is why we can't solve our problems, because we can't solve our problems because we are examining our problem from the criteria of somebody or some people who are in opposition to us being able to survive and live. They don't want that for us. That's not making excuses. That's the way it is. And if anybody can disprove that, show me the data. Show me the empirical, clinical data to disprove that. So, I heard about several things that were going on in my family that give me cause for concern. And I know I'm going to have to keep in contact with one family member, at least, because I know she's crying out for help, and I need to be there for her. And I'm going to do that.
These harsh times have brought many, many disparities to the surface. I mean, when you're in the, when you're in the middle of it and grasping for a life preserver, then you're more aware. But there are some people that their self-study is not as in-depth, and we use distractions to keep from looking too deeply at our thoughts, our words, and our actions, our habits, be they good or bad, and our triggers. We get together as a family and we only want to hear about positive stuff. And if negative things are brought up, it is for the purposes of playing the dozens, for the purposes of putting someone down that you've had a problem with for decades, but you know that the problem you have with that person is personal and not objective. So you hide it in joking around, in playing the dozens, but the criticism is never constructive. It is meant to hurt. It is meant to belittle. It is meant to diminish, which is why I made a conscious decision to only go to places where there is love being served. And it does not matter if I'm blood related or if I'm related by law. If I know, because I've experienced it, if I know that I'm going to end up having a negative experience, that I'm going to come back home and be fussing for a couple of days about things that were said, then, excuse me, Kamau, I'm recording right now. Then I am going to avoid going to those places. And when you start asking where I am and why I don't come along, why I don't come around, I'm going to give you one of those you know why looks. I'm going to pause while I check on family. And we're back.
So, after I talked to different nieces, different nephews, and everybody, I saw certain crises in the making. And basically, coming home to visit and having experienced this good time that I had, it still brought me back to focus with what my branch of the family is going through. They're going through crises, and my family in general are going through some crises. So these are issues that I'm going to take up with one of my nieces that I'm closest to, and my nephew. The discussion of where my nephew is headed. He's going through what a young man his age is supposed to be going through, trying to figure out where he's going in life, what is he going to do, that kind of thing. So I encouraged him to listen to his mother because she has his best interest. But I encouraged him to know that it's his right as a young man or a young person to pursue what they want to do in life and enjoy the freedom of doing that, assuming that it is responsible. And from what I hear, it is. My grandnephew wants to be a rapper. So I encouraged him to do that, if that's what he really wants to do. But still, he has to be responsible.
That's all of us. And don't give too many more details to protect their privacy.
Oh yeah.
You've been specific enough.
But, it gives me great pleasure to speak with all of you that will hear this video. I hope that what I've said sparks some interest in your own families, in examining your own family's good points and your own family's bad points, along with your own individual good and bad points, because this gives us a standard. It's like going to school and getting your grades on your final report card. That's what this is like. This lets us know how well we're doing or how poorly we're doing. That's all it is. We know that when we get the report card, then we can respond actively or appropriately and answer all those good points that you have that make things better, fix all of those bad points that make things worse. It's as simple as that. Thank y'all.
And this video is primarily about self-study, about daily practice of yogic principles, simple ways that you can incorporate those yogic practices like meditation, breath work, stillness, concentrated focus, meditating on solutions. So I have focused the camera on things that are connected with NaTuRe or nature. The large trees in our back garden. You can hear the sounds of the birds. You can perhaps hear and see the wind, movement of the wind with the branches, the lighter branches moving, bobbing in the wind. This is the reason why we are working to create a urban farm, a backyard garden, so that we have a meditative, peaceful space, a green space, an open air space in which to practice yoga. Everything is yoga. One love, one yoga. Mer Aa, much love. Thank you for listening to the end of the video. Please give it a like. Please leave us a uplifting and kind comment. And subscribe to both of our channels if you are so inspired. Be led by Spirit. Blessed be.